welcome to this video. I hope you have watched the previous video where I have discussed about the datasheet of the LM36 audio power amplifier, and we have discussed the schematic in Eagle. Now in this video we will be looking at the circuit board, at the printed circuit board for the amplifier. Firstly, I am using the SMD version of this IC. The SMD version of the IC can very much reduce the noise which might arise while if you use the deep version of this IC. Since this will occupy a smaller area, then chance of receiving external noises is very much less for case of SMD circuits. So this is the one of the primary key features of this board design. So this is the SMD IC. Now the first point which is to be mandatorily kept in mind is that keep the supply decoupling capacitors as much close to the IC as possible. So this is the IC and this is the supply decoupling capacitors, the power supply decoupling capacitors, which are placed just next to the IC. So the track are very much small, so the track distance is very much small. Always keep these components as much close to the IC as possible. This is the point number one. And you may observe that the third decoupling capacitor is placed a bit far away from the IC, not too much far, but just a bit far away. This is the third decoupling capacitor, and this is actually placed near the terminal block from where the input supply will be given. So since two of the supply decoupling capacitors are placed just next to the IC and very much close to it, I have placed the third one a little far, where I have placed a terminal block. It is near to a terminal block, so the input coming from the terminal block and this capacitor is placed near to it. So you can understand the arrangement I have done here. This is the first point to be noted. Always keep supply decoupling capacitors as much close to the IC as possible. Second is the track width. Observe that the thicker tracks are for the power tracks. These are for the supply lines, and this one is for the output lines. This is the pin number 5 is the output line, for the speaker output, the load output. This is also a thicker track. Since the point is that from these supply sections and this power output sections, you can have more currents flowing than the input sections, so that's why I have used the thicker tracks. The third point and the most important point here is always use star grounding for this kind of analog circuits. Since this IC does not provide any separate lines for power and the signal grounds, so you have to maintain star grounding topology for the signal grounds and the power grounds. The funda is that the signal grounds and the power grounds are all meeting at a single point. This is the pin number 4, which is the ground pin for the IC, and all the grounds, be it from the signals and be it from the supply, all are going to a single point at this pin number 4. This is called the star grounding. You can observe the bold the marked tracks. All these are ground. The thinner tracks are from the signals and the thicker track is from the power lines. So all these are meeting at a single point, and which is effectively called the star grounding. Move on to the resources from Altium. You can observe what is star grounding. A star grounding is a single point that connects the analog and the digital ground planes or traces. A star ground is not literally in the shape of star, but the idea is that each connection is made at a single central point. This is shown in the figure below, where the ground connection is at the central point. So from in our circuit, this is the pin number, this center is the pin number 4, and from this one is the coming the signal grounds, and from this section is coming the power grounds. Topology in star grounding is simple. Connect the different signal and analog ground planes or traces back to a single point. But how can you use this to prevent noise in a single PCB? So the thing is that if you use star grounding, this will reduce the occurrence of ground loops. If you use just a single track for your ground and you attach all the wires into that single ground track haphazardly, you will increase the chances of forming various ground loops. So if you form ground loops, you will hear unnecessary buzz, noises and hums in your speaker load. So to avoid that, to reduce noises, always maintain star grounding in your circuit. So you can see here, this is the signal ground, this is another signal ground, this is the another signal ground. So this is coming at this pin, at this single point, pin number 4, and these thicker tracks are from the power grounds. the speaker load ground is also power ground, as well as the supply ground is also power ground. All these are coming at a single point, which forms this effective star grounding. Modern ICs do provide separate pins for signal ground and power grounds, but this one is a very old IC and you do not have such separate pins brought out from the IC, so you have to maintain this inside the printed circuit board which you are designing. So keep this in mind, this is very much important. Obviously you can find more such resources online, but also you can understand that it is not always possible to just to make directly into a single point. You can observe here also I have a certain deviation, like I cannot directly maintain the single point grounding, but this is okay. The point is that I have made these tracks as much close to a single point as much possible. I hope you can get the idea what I am trying to tell. So always do keep this thing in mind. And last but not the least, keep every component as much close as possible. Always do keep each and every component as much close to each other as possible, so as not to make longer tracks and to introduce noise from those tracks. So see, this is the input section, the input section terminal block. Try to make the tracks as much short as possible, so as to not introduce noises from this into these tracks. So but always do keep in mind that do not short them out. Make those things carefully. Use the design rule checker so that you are not overlapping anything. You may ask me that this one is generating an error, like this is a red marked area. The thing is that since this is the condenser microphone and the whole body of the condenser microphone is ground, so if you directly insert on the circuit board, you will overlap on these tracks. But I am keeping a slightly above from the circuit board, so this can be ignored in case of mine. This can be adjusted as per your layout. Since I am not directly inserting, keeping and nesting onto the board, I'll be projecting out from the board, so that's why these keep out areas can be ignored for my case. I do need to tell you that I am not using any ground plane here, since this circuit is so much simple. I will be just using this simple track layout and not using any kind of ground planes. To maintain the important placement of these components here. See, this small space is also a significant. I have deliberately made this space. See, observe here, these two are the supply capacitors. These for the supply capacitors, and these are for the power lines. So I have tried to maintain a distance from these capacitors and from these sections. This is the gain control potentiometer, and this is the 10 microfarad from across pin 1 and 8. So since these are from the signal section, I have tried to maintain a space between them, so that the interference from the power supplies from the power lines is can get minimum. So the placement matters really a lot, and you may try to use the auto router sometimes, but I will not recommend to use the auto router in case of analog circuits. I will recommend you to do these things manually. In case of digital designs, maybe you can try to use the auto router tool, but in case of such complicated analog circuits where you need to maintain this kind of star grounding, I will not recommend to use the auto router here. You try this manually. You can set the track width here. You can set up the grid for getting finer adjustments, and place components yourselves, draw your tracks yourselves, learn from it, observe carefully what mistakes you are doing, use the TRC. If you get any errors, try to rectify that, and if you are thinking that you can overcome that, you can ignore that. Then each component placement is done very much carefully, so that we can receive as much less noise as possible in the output. This PCB will be given in the video description below, and then finally you can print directly from Eagle EDA. You can click on the print. You can use the mirror option. Since I will be using the typical Tunner transfer method, so I will be mirror the circuit and not upside down, since this is the top layer board. So don't make it upside down if you use the Tunner transfer method. And this is a top layer design, not a bottom layer design. So you can now directly print print this circuit. Click on OK and you can save the PDF. In the PDF, then I took a printout on a glossy A4 paper, on a photo paper using a laser printer. Then I used the traditional toner transfer method using my cloth iron. And at this position I should be mentioning here that since I have not applied the heat properly, I have missed out many areas, and which I later covered it with a marker pen, and then performed the etching with a ferric chloride, and then afterwards I arrived at these results. So at this position I am ready to drill out holes using my hand drill, and then after drilling I gathered all the required components and then soldered it, and finally I got the PCB like this. You should be noting here that I have not placed the terminal block on this side. The reason was that I was not getting enough space for this. You may get a smaller terminal block, or you may get a complete different kind of header so that you can place it directly at this position. But nevertheless this works just fine, and this headphone socket was not also in Eagle's footprint library, so therefore I have to directly manually use a wire and then attach that point directly to here. This will work just fine. The board is just fine, as you can see here, and so we will now perform the speaker test. So let's directly see that. So here the actual hardware. I have the speaker load and the battery connected here with this board, and this audio cable is connected with another phone where I am playing the song here. So you can see in ideal conditions you should not be hearing any sound or buzz from the speaker. So I am pausing so that you may hear the noise, if any, arising from the speaker. Now even if I remove disconnect the 3.5mm cable, you shouldn't be hearing anything either. So even at floating conditions you are not hearing anything. So that's the advantage of the star grounding. Due to this kind of effective layout of the star grounding, you have minimized the noise as much as possible. So that's why I am getting as much least noise as possible from the speaker. Now I will be switching this into microphone mode, and so then let's see how's the output comes. Now I have set it into microphone mode by switching the jumper position. Now I have observed that the microphone mode will work the best when I use the earphone. So I have connected the earphone, and the earphone actually can produce sounds generated from the microphone quite well. So here's a sample of this.
Hello, test 1 2 3, test, hello, test 1 2 3.
So this board was okay, and this board performs quite well. Now this earphone connected here, you can try to use it as a hearing assistant, but nevertheless this circuit I will not suggest to make it as a product, as a complete product, since this circuit is only for practicing. This circuit is only good for practicing, not for a practical product based application. I will not recommend that. I should be suggesting you to use a modern IC, class AB amplifier or a class D amplifier. This IC you can just use for testing purposes, for practicing the star grounding layouts. You can use this IC for that, and you can practice those kind of circuit design techniques using this IC. But I will not recommend this IC for making any practical product applications, since this IC is now quite old and there are various newer ICs available in the market. So nevertheless, I hope you have learned quite a few basic things of analog circuit design layouts in this video, and I hope you will share this video, and for any confusions please do mention those in the comments below. I will definitely try to solve them out. So thanks for watching this video. Please like, share and subscribe,